messaging on this. like that too. Yeah, I know.
Have us. You get nobody showing up.
I think we all need to make the goal of that.
Well, it was started. Don and I have been having a conversation. We're gonna see where it goes. I think we got some more to do. Chip away. Chip away. Busy week for.
No, the first week's back to work after the household, back to work after the holiday.
Always fun. Jim briefed me on that.
Oh, good.
It's not as, someone new guy.
Oh my God. Yeah, like I saw the email that he said that.
It's not the first time it's happened.
Yeah.
Because he had done something to him once ago.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's smart the way he writes, because I really can't.
Yeah, I know. It's like. Some things fit threatening, but not really.
Yeah.
It's Ron. Ron, yeah, he's the chief. I got nothing. Unless, you know, I don't know what's there.
Say that again. I guess put together a new account. All I'm gonna do. And highlight it. So. Just run about because I told you all three of mine. Hi. Good. Ron needs to be.
Hi, pleasure to meet you.
Ron needs to be.
Half hour. Time.
Thank you. Sorry, I've left my dang folder.
In the back. Oh, no, we thank you. It's so cool.
No, but that's not.
We all did.
I wrote to my funny emails. I'm not getting all this, so I just showed his.
We're all here.
Yeah. This is so long, we can sit down and you just get no. Maybe I'm still in this speed here. Okay, why don't we get started? Pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance.
I wish to announce that 48-hour notice is required under the Open Public Meetings Act was emailed to the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star, and the New Coaster on December the 7th of 2023. That a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. As a courtesy to the public, this meeting may be attended via Zoom. If for any reason the Zoom portion of this meeting fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue and action can and will be taken, providing that there is a quorum. Mr. Noble? Here. Mr. Gubatose?
Here.
Ms. Mahoney?
Here.
Mr. Weber?
Here.
Mayor Fox?
Here. Okay, welcome everybody to our 2024 reorganization meeting. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good holiday. I want to first express my thanks to OEM, DPW, Police Department and Administration for their attention to the storm in the last couple of days. It got a lot of hype and deservedly so. We always want to be over prepared, but I think we fared very well through the storm. It seems like a pattern is developing. We've got a couple of storms on the horizon, but so far so good. So I just wanted to take a minute to thank those groups for coordinating and working as a team. The first thing we are going to do tonight is we have a proclamation that is somewhere. Where did it go? Oh, it's over here. Okay. That we want to present to somebody who has been working down, but we can. Thank you. Oh, that's very nice. Nice wrapper. Somebody who's been working as a volunteer in the borough for many years, 50+ years, and we have a proclamation. He will continue. I want to make sure Roy asked me to make sure people understood that he wasn't retiring. He was just retiring from a portion of his responsibility. So I'll read this proclamation and then I think we have a presentation, I think. We have the stuff, you know. Okay, so this is honoring Roy Christensen for his volunteer service. Roy is the most understated, doesn't want any attention guy that I know. So this is probably killing us in the stand. So whereas Roy Christensen, as a lifelong resident of the borough of Bradley Beach, joined the fire department in 1972. And whereas after several years serving as a line officer, the membership elected Mr. Christensen in the position of chief of the department in 1986. And whereas Mr. Christensen in his current day remains a life member and an ex-chief in good standing with 52 years of uninterrupted loyal service to the community. And whereas Mr. Christensen currently serves as a fire apparatus driver, and for several decades, he has consistently maintained an excellent response percentage of Bradley Beach Fire Department responding to calls each day and night. And whereas Mr. Christensen shall retire from the fire line on January 11th, 2024, after 52 years of dedication to the Bradley Beach Fire Department, and will conclude with a final drive of the pumper truck throughout the town on his final day, which is tomorrow. Now therefore be it resolved, this proclamation is being awarded to recognize Mr. Christensen's loyal and dedicated commitment to volunteer fire services of this community. Mr. Christensen's selfless service and devotion to the borough and well-being of its residents has had a valuable effect on the safety and morale of his co-volunteers and the community through the years. We look forward to Mr. Christensen's continued contributions to the Bradley Beach Fire Department dated January 10th, 2024. For you, Roy. That's Roy staying on because he runs the best fish fry in the country. I will say, just personally, Roy, I've been in a pinch more than once in the last few years for a facility or I need something, and I've called Roy more than once, and he's just been extremely helpful and receptive, and he really always just responds in a great way. So I really appreciate it, Roy, and I guess the other little factoid about Roy is tomorrow is Roy's birthday. Yeah. So we wish you a happy birthday too. The big 80. Yeah. So are you driving around today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Okay. Early in the day. All right. Well, again, we very much appreciate everything Roy's done, and I think we have a resolution.
Yes, resolution 2024-4 approving the Bradley Beach Fire Department to donate outdated fire department bunker gear and helmets to retiring member Leroy Christensen.
Maybe as each, I'll make a motion to approve, and maybe I can get a council person to, each council person to come down and we'll take a picture with Roy.
Okay, that sounds good.
As you come down the stairs, you can vote. I'll make a motion to approve resolution
2024-4.
2024-4. Do I have a second?
Second.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Mr. Noble,
I'm
Second.
gonna take a picture.
And yes,
Good.
here comes the.
Mr. Gubatose,
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mayor Fox.
Yes. Should feel honored, Roy. You really get a unanimous vote. So.
Yeah, that's what I say, stay around.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I'm in the back because I'm always in the back. Roy, in the middle? Yeah, Roy, you should be. Roy in the middle?
Yeah. I'll go on the other.
No, I'm asking you to come.
Yeah, you guys switch. You guys switch.
That's it.
Big smile.
Oh, we got the professionals back
The
there.
actual.
I have not a question.
It's John's. Did you have a professional equipment? You gotta see how to do it.
I think you're on timer.
We can all do dance and have to come back when that thing goes.
Ready? Come on. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Equipment will be delivered to Roy or he's gonna pick it up.
Well, he's got one more like to answer.
You're locked. As you can see, a bunch of Roy's colleagues are here to honor Roy. So it's great occasion. So thanks again. Okay, we'll start with the regular meeting. I don't know if does the fire group, do you want to stick around or you guys want
You
to,
don't have to say.
you don't have to stick
Yeah.
around.
On our council comment. You're gonna go.
I figured it'd be better to have one shot than every 2 minutes, people walking out.
Right.
We can all go to Darcy's and have a good time.
That's it.
Okay, we'll start, number 6 on the agenda, is organization of mayor and borough council. We're gonna nominate, for council president for 2024 and 2024-5, nomination of, current council president and now 2024 council president, Jane DeNoble. So I'll make a motion to, nominate Jane DeNoble as council president.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Absolutely.
Hey.
Mr. Guptosi?
I am very honored to extend Jane's council presidencies, and I vote yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Happily, yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay. Next on the agenda is 2024 council liaison assignments. I'll just read down them by each one of those. Fletcher Lake Commission, Councilman Weber. Sylvan Lake Commission, Councilman Guatosi. Migration Committee, Mayor Fox. Tourism Commission, Mayor Fox. Library Board of Trustees, Mayor Fox. Environmental Commission, Councilwoman Mahoney. Shade Tree Commission, there are 2, Councilwoman DeNoble and Councilman Weber. Arts Council, Mayor Fox. Board of Education, Councilwoman DeNoble. Land Use Board, Councilwoman Mahoney. Police Liaison, Councilman Guatosi. And Fire EMS, Councilman Weber. Okay, so we'll now move to the
Point of order, I have to share some information. I had asked Mayor Fox to continue to reappoint me to the tourism. And he said no multiple times, and I need to share some information from the tourism director. In the past year, I've worked with the commission and we've made great strides to follow our tourism ordinance more accurately. And despite the mayor recently forming an anonymous committee to change it. And when the mayor informed me that he planned this change just 2 days ago, I was very surprised and quite disappointed. And when I asked the mayor to reconsider his decision multiple times to replace me only after 1 year, each time he refused. I informed the tourism director, Amy Hall, that this change would be announced at the council meeting tonight. And she expressed tremendous concern and then told me about an employment complaint against the mayor for harassment and retaliation. In her complaint, she stated, during this time, my job has been threatened and I feel great anxiety over losing my job. Ms. Hall further informed me that she recently filed a notice of tort. And I realized then that the mayor's effort to appoint herself into this role can only make matters worse. Himself into this role, can only make matters worse as regards to potential litigation for the borough. And I asked Ms. Hall if it would be okay for me to share this information at the council meeting tonight, and she gave me permission to do so. She's very worried that the mayor is not respecting her harassment and retaliation claim, and she's hoping that by making this public, he will stop attempting to intimidate her. I tried many times to avoid this, but unfortunately, I was told that it's not up for negotiation. You can't request to be on a tourism committee. It's the mayor's appointment, and I'm sorry to Amy, and I'm sorry to the commission. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I'll give a brief comment. This meeting is really for reorganization, so I hope we don't get into a whole set of discussions, but my rationale around that was a couple things. Number one, we do have some work to do from a legislative perspective. I've been in contact with the Senate and Assembly members. I'm having a meeting Friday with somebody, a legislative person from the Senate, to look at our ordinance. We did have a couple of people look at our ordinance, and we do have some improvements that we have to make in our ordinance. I shared that with Council President DeNoble, I guess about a month or so ago, and said I think we should form a small group to deal with that. And her response was that I don't think we need to do that. Let's let it ride for a year. I don't think if we see something that needs to be improved, I think we need to improve it. So I was willing to take that on as something that we can improve. All the other items that you mentioned are unfortunate, but I think they'll work themselves through. So thank you for that.
Mr. Mayor, just
Go ahead, I've got comments too.
if I can, just, the issue here is not that there's work to do on legislating changes to the tourism commission. The issue here is the comfort of the tourism director with you being the liaison. Would you consider simply making another person, presumably Council President DeNoble, the liaison to tourism? That's all it's being asked.
And I was asked that, and I answered the question. So
Is it the same answer now? Okay.
thank you.
And I'd like to
No,
also,
thank you.
I'd also like to comment because problem was what you just heard the mayor say, I want to get something done, and the inference, at least that I heard, was that he was suggesting Ms. DeNoble was not willing or is unable to get things done.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, it sounded like that to me. Perhaps the audience didn't hear it that way, but specifically when you said, I told her we needed changes and we didn't want a small committee, and she apparently was not supportive of your suggestion of a small committee. You then decided you should make yourself the tourism director.
I'm not the tourism director. I'd be the
Tourism liaison.
Yeah.
I want to say on behalf of Ms. DeNoble that during her first year as a tourism liaison, she's been a champion of the Tourism Commission. She's only been on it for 1 year, ladies and gentlemen. So to move her off after 1 year, to me, especially a very productive year, is a slap in the face. She fought hard to develop appropriate practices and controls that ensure that our commission is operating according to our tourism ordinance. Previously, there were many inconsistencies in how the commission operated. This was not always the commission's fault, and in fact, in many cases, the mayor himself instructed employees to overrule our laws, and he inappropriately directed staffing and event management. During 2023, Council President DeNoble fought to restore the proper functioning of the Tourism Commission, and I personally, sitting right here, criticized the illegal payments made from the Tourism Trust that were authorized by the mayor. So in my mind, this goes beyond Ms. Hall's complaint, her harassment complaint, as well as she's filed a notice of tort, which means she has the potential to sue the borough. She also expressed that she wanted this to be known publicly because she does not believe the mayor she believes he's disingenuous in his desire to work with her as a liaison to the Tourism Commission. So no one wants to start the year in a note like this. Ms. DeNoble struggled with this. She told me earlier today, she really didn't want to make this announcement. She made it on behalf of Ms. Hall. And the reason I'm backing her up is because she's done a wonderful job in year one as the tourism director, brought a lot of inappropriate behaviors to light, has corrected a lot of those. And the response that our mayor has given is that I can do the job going forward better. And that is wrong. And that is likely to put us, the borough, at greater liability.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, let's move to the next.
Mayor?
Yes.
I feel that these comments have everything to do with reorganization. So I take umbrage with thinking in your comment that these comments have nothing to do with reorganization and, we should just flatline through this. I think this needs to be considered very carefully, and that's what I want on record. Thank you.
Okay, number 7 on the agenda, approval of minutes. I want to make a motion to approve December 6, 2023, council business meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second,
Mr. Noble,
Yes,
Mr. Gubatose,
Yes,
Ms. Mahoney,
yes,
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mayor Fox.
Yes. I want to make a motion to approve the December 2023 executive session meeting minutes. Have a second.
Second.
Mr. Noble,
yes,
Mr. Gubatose,
yes,
Mr. Mahoney, and Ms. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mayor Fox.
Yes. Make a motion to approve January 4th, 2024 special council meeting minutes. Make a motion. Do I have a second?
second,
I would just like to state for the record, I made the corrections that Councilman Gubatose and Councilman Weber pointed out to me last night. And I'm sorry, who did the second for me? Thank you.
Mr. Noble,
nice job, Erica. Yes,
thank you. Mr. Gubatose,
yes,
Ms. Mahoney,
yes,
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
and Mayor Fox.
Yes. Public comments pertaining to the 110 agenda items only, 5-minute limit, single instance. Any questions on agenda? Okay, we will move to the next item, which is three communications, the acting borough administrator 90-day appointment, the appointments memo on yearly terms, the appointment memo on various terms. We had, so moving into resolutions, we had,
excuse me, Mayor, point of order.
Yep.
I know that we're doing this 90-day appointment memo for Meredith DeMarco, and I'm sure a lot of people are confused why this is happening. And if we could just take a moment and have Greg Cannon, if you could just bring everybody up to date, why this is getting done again. Or how it's getting done.
I mean, that's a very complicated legal question. So obviously this matters before Judge English. Although there's not like a technical stay from the court, I think it's best for the mayor and council to just do nothing until Judge English decides, like we did last time. As I've mentioned before, I think that regardless, it's my opinion that regardless of what Judge English decides, Meredith is a holdover in this position. By virtue of being appointed under the prior ordinance before it was changed. And so the mayor and council would have to agree in any event to change that position. So
So
I
you're
don't have
saying,
the objection to the mayor putting his position in writing with this memo, but I'm just not sure what the effect, if any, is. If that
I understand. So we're basically in a holding pattern until the judge decides. Which is scheduled for
Essentially, yeah.
February
Yeah.
6th, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time saying that this is necessary, but I also would have a hard time telling the mayor that if he wants to put his position in writing, they would do that too, so. But as far as mayor's position, nothing is changing by virtue of this memo or not, as far as I understand it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we agreed over the last few days to move a number of items from the individual to the consent agenda. I'll read through the consent agenda items that we previously listed, and then I'll add those others after that, which don't have the document completely done yet. And I apologize in advance that if I trip over myself on a few of these, I left my notes from this particular thing at home on my.
Want me to read
Yeah.
what we have for consent agenda item right now?
Well, if you'd like to, yeah, good.
Okay,
Good. That'll give me a few minutes to get the other ones together.
okay.
You can speak on the agenda? Yeah.
Well, we already passed them.
He announced public comments.
Yeah,
The mayor announced public comments.
I mean, we'll be through this, hopefully portion of the agenda pretty quick. You can just go to public comments.
Mayor, you're putting everything together that everybody agrees on?
I'm sorry?
You're putting everything
Yeah.
together that everybody's, okay, so you just need a motion to amend the consent agenda. Just
Yeah.
Put all those, you want to
Oh,
list
yeah.
them all?
Oh, yeah, I'm
And then-
sorry. You're right. Yeah. So I'll make a motion to, on the consent agenda I'll motion 2024, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 31, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39 from the individual to the consent agenda. Those are all the items that we.
Erica, can you repeat those before?
Yes, okay.
Okay, so the resolutions that the mayor is making a motion to move to the consent agenda from the individual list. Resolution 2024-22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 31, 33, 35, 36, 37, 39.
So. So I have a couple of questions. One, I was under the impression from the email exchanges we had that we had 34 on the consent agenda. Is that not correct? The fair share housing attorney?
I stated 34. You might have missed it. I had it.
Did you? I'm so sorry.
Yes, it is. I stated it.
Okay. And then I thought, Mr. Mayor, maybe we had disagreed, but Erica did not read 24, if I'm correct.
I read 24.
You did.
I did.
I'd like to, Erica, what did you have?
You're moving that to consent also, Mayor?
I had that motion to, yeah.
Sorry, okay.
Yeah, so just to correct, so I'd like to make a motion that we remove 24 from this consent agenda.
And leave it on individual?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we have to put it on and then I take it off or,
No, just we'll make the motion for 22, 23, 25 through 27, 31, 33 through 37, and 39.
yeah, yeah,
So that's the motion.
Yes.
So that was second to that motion.
second,
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
yes.
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. So before you start reading the consent agenda, Erica, I'd also like the motion withdrawal of 2024-38. That was erroneously put on the sheet. The way,
We can do that when we get to the
Yeah.
individual.
when
Oh,
you
do it
individually
individual. I'm sorry.
motion
I
that.
wasn't sure the way that was. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Eric,
fine.
if you want to read through these, that'll give me a few minutes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read through the regular consent agenda, resolutions here, and then you'll.
And I'll pick it up. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just want
okay,
to make
that's
sure I
fine.
can read you right.
Okay.
because I don't have mine.
So 2024-6, establishing depositories for funds received by the borough. 2024-7, establishing change funds for 2024. 2024-8, establishing petty cash funds for 2024. 2024-9 designates a cash management plan for the deposit of all monies received by the borough. 2024-10, designation of newspapers and internet websites for the borough of Bradley Beach. 2024-11, authorizing the Borough Council to donate 2 2024 adult season badges to various Bradley Beach nonprofit organizations. 2024-12, approving the tax assessor to act as agent for the borough for the purposes of filing and settling tax appeals up to $20,000 on behalf of the tax district for the 2022 tax year.
I think that should be 2023, I'm sorry.
2024-13 establishes the grace period for delinquent tax payments for 2024. 2024-14, appointment of public agency compliance officer for 2024. 2024-15, the elected fire department officials for 2024. 2024-16, elected first aid squad officials for 2024. 2024-17, authorizing the cancellation of tax and sewer payments under and or over the amount of $10. 2024-18, authorizing contracts with approved state contractors for the contracting units pursuant to NJSA 40A:11-12A through December 31st of 2024. Approving the police department to donate surplus special police utility pants to the Bradley Beach Food Pantry and the Jersey Shore Rescue Mission. 2024-20, approval of a lien redemption refund for 605 Monmouth Avenue in the amount of $3,748.94. 2024-21, approval of a lien redemption refund for 511 Fifth Avenue in the amount of $96,000, $80.45. Mayor?
Okay, I have about a dozen or so, about
Yeah.
10 to
You have to
11.
read the ones that are added too.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna do that.
That's why I said.
I was getting that ready while she was reading the other.
Thanks, thank you.
Okay, 2024-22, authorizing the execution of a shared service agreement with the Borough of Belmar for canine services. 2024-23, the authorization of mortgage discharge on block 46, lot 22. 2024-25, Borough Prosecutor Professional Equipment for 2024, that's Chamois Law. 2024-26, Borough Public Defender Professional Service Appointment for 2024, that's Starkey So the end
Clerk
slide.
and Kelly,
Starkey, Kelly and Kennelly. 2024 is 17, 2024, 27. Alternate borough public defender, professional service appointment to Superior Law. 2024, 31, the Borough Conflict Council professional services appointment for 2024 to Rainone, Coughlin, and Mincello. 2024, 33, bond council professional services appointment for 2024 to Dilworth Paxson LLC. 2024, 34, fair share housing attorney professional services appointment for 2024 Wiener Law. 2024, 35, borough engineer professional service appointment for 2024 CME. 2024, 37, borough planner professional service appointment for 2024 to Avakian, Leon Avakian. In 2024, 39, financial consultant professional service appointment for 2024 to Acacia. I think that is everyone. So I'll make
So I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, a quick discussion because I have two questions and I also would like to make a motion.
I have a question.
My quick questions, the ones you just read through, 33, the bond council, you read the formal name, but I just want confirmation, please, that Megan Bennett would remain the bond council. She with the new firm.
she's been with the new firm. It is what happened middle of last year was they merged with another firm and we made a resolution at that point to put Dilworth
Yeah,
and
it's-
Paxson
it's
as
still listed
as our
on this
company, and she is our representative.
And then in 36, the engineering consulting pod of engineers.
Sorry, did I miss that one? Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't.
I did miss that. I'm sorry, so sorry.
Okay.
So that pod is, apologies, H2M, CME, Colliers, RBE, and Avakian. I'm sorry.
Okay, great.
Good pickup. I missed it.
That's all over the place, no problem. I also would like discussion, so I imagine I'm gonna have to motion to move these out of the consent agenda, but I'd like discussion on 2024-6, the establishing depositories, 2024-10, and 2024-18. So can we
Wait, which ones now?
do that efficiently?
Now, which ones?
6, 10, designation of newspapers,
Uh-huh.
and 18, authorizing contracts. I'd just like discussion on those separate. So,
Can you just discuss that?
Yeah, can we just?
yeah, if we can.
Yeah.
Just want to make
All
sure.
right.
Okay, and then before we
I mean,
discuss
there's
that,
not an issue with them, right?
There might be, yes. Actually, one I have an issue with. The other two are more clarifications.
All right, can we do the discussion first and then if
Sure.
you need to, all right.
John?
yeah, I just had a question about 11. 20, the resolution, 2024-11.
Yep.
I know this is routine, we do this every year, we do this by resolution, but my question then is, when we give, I think the 8th grade class, they all get beach badges, they get junior badges. Do we do a resolution for that? Because I don't think we have ever done that.
I don't think that was ever done prior to
Okay.
the one time it was done.
So I'm just like, if we have to do a resolution to give away 2 badges, then we give like 25 badges to this, so I'm just wondering, not that we have. Doesn't
Right,
change
no,
anything
no,
now,
I
I'm
know,
just,
I wasn't aware of it
Just
being
sort of-
done prior to when it was,
The badges to the 8th grade class are a private donation.
they're private donation.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need a resolution.
No.
That answers my question, that's awesome, that's all my
That's
questions.
very
Thanks.
nice.
Okay, so then I think a quick question on 6, establishing depositories for funds received by the borough. We list, and I know this is a standard thing, I've seen this before myself, but we list PNC Bank, Carney Federal Bank, Provident Bank, and United Roosevelt Bank, Savings Bank, as depositories for all funds. But I guess my question as a council person is, how, who decides how we allocate funds to these 4 banks? Has any analysis been done to suggest that we're allocating them in a cost-effective manner, maximizing, whatever fees or minimizing fees, maximizing our margins, if you will? And also the issue that is always raised, are we adequately supporting local banks? And I think in terms of Carney in particular. So has there been an analysis done that says why we have these particular 4 banks?
analysis has been started, making sure that we're putting the correct funds in place that we can get the most out of. For example, one bank might offer us to pay for our payroll fees if we go through them for payroll. So those are constantly being analyzed. But so the answer is yes. But again, I think the last time it was done, because I believe I was still on council, was probably in the fall of this year. So I think we need to, probably be looking better, probably mid-year, we probably look again.
Because so if an analysis was done in the fall, that's something that could be shared with the council. I don't think I've ever seen it.
And do you want me, yes, I can provide that.
All right, thank you. We could pursue this further later, but at a minimum, I just want to make sure I understood the underlying logic behind it. And let's jump to 18, because that's a quick one. The 10, I do have more significant questions. 18. I'm sorry, no, 18, I have questions.
Number
Oh,
10.
10, the newspaper.
Yes.
I was confused by this because I think of the notices that you place as being newspapers. And there's language in here.
For
That,
NJLM,
well, a couple things. That is one also, yes, but the Newark Star Ledger, does that even make sense that that would be a paper?
I very rarely use that paper, but just in case, in the event that I would need to, it's a backup,
In
so.
case we have a time.
Covered, it's in the resolution,
Because
but
we
I
use
very
weeklies.
rarely use it.
Yeah, because we use weeklies, in a lot of the cases.
Yeah.
If we have some interim
If I have
meeting
to
or some
advertise
change.
something and I'm
we have
under a
to
time
pinpoint
crunch.
the time.
That's that would be one of my
It's
go-tos,
just a backup.
but I hardly ever use it.
But no, okay, so that's good. My concern is more that the residents hardly ever use it. So if we did have a quick shift and you needed to.
Okay, well, legally, I have to announce things in papers and it would be papers that are used within the state or the county. So,
Okay, honestly, I'm just, saying what I think that concerns me if the point of this notice is to make sure we get notice to the residents.
mhm.
And the residents don't read the Newark Star Ledger, then maybe we need to come up with an alternative and maybe that's where the borough internet website comes in. We can,
It is on, I do
Can I
post
just-
everything to the
Can I just
website.
add, Al, that it's not just for the residents, I mean, sometimes we're advertising something because we want somebody far and beyond the borough of Bradley Beach to know, like a concession. I mean, that wouldn't be bad to put that in the Star Ledger, because maybe somebody
That's
from
fine, yeah.
far away from here. So, and I'm just saying, it's not just the resident, I mean, your point about the residents is good.
no, John, the language says the publication of advertisements and notices required by law to be published by the borough of
And
Bradley Beach.
that stuff is posted on the website as well. I mean, the residents see it when I post the agendas that go with a special meeting. If that notice is in there.
No, I understand what you're saying, Erica, and I don't mean to at all argue with you. I'm just simply saying for purposes of satisfying notices required by law,
Mhm.
I personally,
But that notice by law is also posted on the website is what I'm trying to tell you.
okay, that's good. It's kind of not worded that way. It's worded that the Newark Star Ledger is designated for these notices, and then it continues and says advertisements for notices may be published in either one or all of the named papers or on the NJLM website or on the borough internet. And the ors concern me, and I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying, to me, it's unclear because these ors read to me as if it could be instead of these newspapers.
No,
And that's not your intention. I don't know, Mr. Cannon, were you involved at all in drafting this particular resolution?
No, but I would say that it has to be flexible because it's largely dependent on what she's advertising.
Okay, that's fair.
So there's only 2 daily papers in here. So if you need something to advertise, sometimes you need to advertise in 2 newspapers, like a sanitation contract has to be advertised in 2 newspapers. So
I'm not worried about advertisements, honestly, but I am worried about timely notification to the public of, what's the wording? Notices required
within the
by,
48-hour notice, my usual papers are the New Coaster and the Co-Star
no, I know
and
that.
the website
And if that's,
and Asbury Park Press.
if that said that here, I'd be fine. But it's not saying it here.
But there are times I do have to use the Star Ledger if we are going to have some kind of a special meeting and I got short notice.
I
I need to
understand.
get it in the paper. I have, like, by law, I have to get that in a paper. I don't have a choice.
So Erica, the issue's not what is done.
Mhm.
It's how this is worded. And I would ask that, like, well, let me just ask a question, then I'm gonna propose a solution here. New Jersey League of Municipalities, what type of things do we put, people, will we ever send to them?
That I put in there because at times we do post employment ads.
Employment.
And I figure it is something that we are using, it should be in the resolution.
Okay, and what?
To mobile mats, any type of beach related
Okay.
equipment.
And are there no other real competitive vendors? This is the one state recognized vendor?
So these people go through a fair and open process at the state
For the
level
state level.
to be qualified to be on this list.
But we can't, it does not guarantee us that they would be a better bid, however, than an open bid. A fair and open contract. Would they automatically be lower than anything we can get in the market?
It really depends on the good and service you're looking for. And it depends on the particular market at the time. That's a really difficult question to answer. I mean, I can tell you that it's often for things that that are only used by a few towns that just aren't generally available, or not people that like playground, like beach equipment. Doesn't surprise me, beach equipment's on there. There's only so many towns that buy beach equipment, and there's not people constantly looking for bids like they are to build roads. It's usually specialty items or things that you need in relatively short order. Police cars is another one. Police cars are extremely hard to get from manufacturers and then fit out, so a lot of times they go through the state contract to get police cars. Playground equipment is another one.
Isn't the point, Greg, that it's faster to go through these?
It's faster, especially in emergencies, yeah.
And they've gone through the scrutiny and the criteria to be qualified, so they.
Yeah, the state level, yes.
Right, so, I mean, the state's objective here is, I think, is to save municipalities time and effort to have to go through that rigorous,
It's precisely
vetting.
correct.
Okay. So then a couple more, I understand these are usually folks that we and Meredith, you as our business administrator feel would 95% of the time get us the best contract at, both
Yeah, and these are
places.
really, I mean, if we go down the list, it's really emergencies, right? So we're looking at, like I said, beach stuff, our recycling, both with, Mazda and, Atlantic. It's all the uniforms for the, DPW and our, UCFW folks. It is obviously the coaster, but we need to do advertising, it's that type
We have
of.
the coaster, we don't have the co-star, does that make sense as well?
They may not be a state
Yeah.
contracted
Okay.
vendor. Again, these are state vendors.
And the last two on the list, oak tree sheds,
Beach
gazebos,
lockers And our gazebos.
and they're one of the few firms in the state that make beach lockers.
Well, and our gazebos.
And our
It's
gazebos.
both, yeah.
And Wallach's Metalcraft for,
The railings along the promenade.
and again, that's not something we can competitively bid. I just need to understand.
It all depends on the situation, all right? So again, these are in place for emergencies. So so that way we don't have to call a special meeting, get a resolution on the books, of state vendors.
The difference is you would bid if you were replacing all of the railings. You'd probably do an open public construction
Yeah.
bid. If two railings break and you can get the matching ones
Yeah.
directly off the website, that's the kind of stuff you use this for.
Okay, so that may have answered my question, but what assurance do we as a council have that if it's replacing a significant amount of railings, it goes to an open bid? How does that work? Like if we approve this tonight, if we have to replace all the railings, do we just go to this company, Wallach's, or
Well, there's the threshold still, so the threshold still stands.
44,000 or with the QPA? Okay, I'm, okay, no, thank you for answering these questions. I'm not, generally speaking, I like competitive bidding, so this makes me nervous. As a council person representing the public, I like to think that we're in a position to be efficient, be effective, be cost effective, and some of these sound like they do that. But also at the same time, be competitive. Okay, that answered my questions. I
Right, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm willing to leave that on the bills list if no one else has concerns.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose?
Yes,
Ms. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Fox?
Yes. Okay, going to individual appointments, we did. Did we move, we moved,
right.
which number?
So the ones still on the individual are 24, 28, 29, 30, 32, 38, and 40.
So 38 and 24 adds to my list. Okay, so why don't we do 24 first? Risk management,
Discussion.
Yep.
So I don't know if my council colleagues had a concern here, but I raised the question that this is the only bid, as I understand it, that we received. And as I mentioned moments ago, I like competitive bidding, so I was wondering if we could basically solicit additional bids. I know there are many people that provide risk management services. Can we solicit at least 2 or 3 more bids and do a more valid competitive analysis? That, am I right? Are there other risk management consultants in New Jersey?
I'm sure there's some, I don't know how many deal with municipalities.
I would like to do that as well.
So do you want to make a motion to withdraw that nomination along with 38, just do it in one motion and move on?
Well, 30, I had a different question, but for 24, I'd like to just make a motion to table it. I'm not saying no, but I'd like to know if we have the capability to request
So
a few more.
We'll follow up.
proposals.
Yeah, so you want to make a motion to table?
Yeah, I make a motion to table 2024-24 risk management professional services appointment. There's a second.
Second,
Mr. Noble,
yes.
Mr. Gubatose,
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mayor Fox.
Yes.
Go ahead, Larry.
Was gonna motion 2024-38 to withdraw.
To discussion.
Yep.
Just wanted to understand that because I was under the impression that this was the position that was a professional service and that we would normally appoint them under, local public contracts law.
It was, the analysis was done last year by Mr. Fahrenbach that, and I don't have it in front of me and didn't realize this was gonna be a question, but it basically said it didn't fall under the umbrella of professional service contract. It was just a service like any other number of services we have in the municipality. And he determined that, he did the analysis. He actually checked with, I think, DCA. I mean, I can get the analysis for you, whether the memo.
I don't know if it was it shared with us, do you recall?
I'm sorry?
Was his analysis shared with the council, do you recall? I don't recall.
I
think,
believe it
yeah.
was, yeah.
I think you
I
remember.
vaguely remember this, but yeah, it was.
I can follow up and see, because he checked with DCA, and did a
Yeah.
couple of things, yeah.
And Mr. Cannon, are you familiar one way or the other with that particular service?
I don't recall, but I do recall Mr. Fahrenbach looking into this.
Okay,
And he got an answer, I believe, I think from DC.
He did.
I want to
DCA.
go government services.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll trust my mayor and council colleagues and I'll withdraw any further questions on that one. We can withdraw it.
Okay, so make a motion to withdraw 2024-38.
Second,
Mr. Noble,
Yes.
Mr. Gubatose,
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney,
yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Mayor Fox.
Yes, okay, we have 5 other individual, first, no real order, let me go 2024-40, the Borough Auditor Professional Service Appointment for 2024 is 2024-40. I'll make a motion to approve 2024-40. The auditor, I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
Okay.
I should have said the name, I'm sorry.
Did we do 28, 29? Like, we should really kind of go.
Yeah.
You want sequence? I'm sorry.
We did
Yeah,
the one,
thanks.
but we should go back. up.
Yeah.
I wrote the other 2 below and I
Just
just
don't
started
order.
on south to north. Okay, 2024-28, Borough Attorney Professional Services Appointment. 2024-28, a nomination of Cleary, Jacoby, Fieri, and Jacobs. Make a motion to approve.
Well, discussion first.
Yes.
The number one, what is their formal name? Because we received multiple emails where I think we were misspelling it, so I just want to make sure we spell it correctly. On the final resolution.
I think it's, well, we can verify that, but I have it here.
Yeah, I know everything here, including here says Fieri and it's Alfieri, so I just want to make
Okay.
sure that. the
Alfieri.
record is right there. And I actually do have a comment I'd like to make on this. Okay, my comment for, we're talking about the Borough Council. Mr. Cannon, the mayor is suggesting that we replace Mr. Cannon with the firm Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, and Jacobs LLC. My comment to the public is, this is just sad. Mayor sent Mr. Cannon a termination notice just a few days before Christmas, even though he had no authority to do so. As you can see, Mr. Cannon continues to serve as our borough attorney in 2024. This termination action was just a few days after Mayor Fox asked Mr. Cannon to resign on his own accord, an invitation that Mr. Cannon graciously declined. The mayor's actions here are sad because Mr. Cannon continues to serve the entire governing body with professionalism and integrity. We are not an easy group to serve, given our differences, and there have been times that Mr. Cannon and I have not agreed on certain matters of law. I believe he serves the entire governing body fairly and to the best of his ability, but Mayor Fox does not like anyone who disagrees with him. The mayor's efforts here are petty and soon.
Councilman, could you refrain from personal attacks here? If you have facts or things you want to bring up, I have no problem with that. But
This is the
making
fact.
personal attacks, the word you're using, excuse me.
The word petty, I think you are,
Just refrain from personal attacks, please.
I'm gonna continue my comments, sir. The mayor does not like people who disagree with him, as I said. His efforts are petty and soon will be proven to be illegal. Now Mayor Fox accuses Mr. Cannon of ethical violations because Mr. Cannon is changing the name of his firm in 2024 without telling the mayor. And because Mr. Cannon did not recuse himself from defending the council during the mayor's lawsuit in 2023. Also, we are in the middle of defending ourselves from a new lawsuit brought by the mayor, and I doubt the court will allow either the mayor or the council to make any changes to positions that are currently under the court's review. Oh, and finally, the firm that Mr. Fox wishes to retain, Cleary, Jacoby, Alfieri, Jacobs, LLC, Assemblyman Sean Keene is an attorney in this firm. Mr. Keene is also a strong political ally of the mayor's. That's my comment.
Thank you, Councilman. I'm just, I won't,
No, I'm not seconding.
I won't, qualify that. So I have a second or, second motion?
Second,
Mr. Noble,
no.
Mr. Gubatose,
Nope,
Ms. Mahoney,
No,
Mr. Weber,
No,
Mayor Fox.
Yes. Okay, Borough Labor Council Professional Service Agreement for Bernstein and Associates. It's 2024-29. I'll make a motion to approve 2024-29.
second.
Mr. Noble,
No.
Mr. Gubatose,
Nope,
Ms. Mahoney,
no,
Mr. Weber,
no,
Mayor Fox.
Yes. Okay, 2024-30 Borough Oprah Council Professional Service Appointment for 2024 to Bernstein and Associates. Make a motion to approve 2024-30.
second,
Mr. Noble,
No.
Mr. Gubatose,
no,
Ms. Mahoney,
no,
Mr. Weber,
no,
Mayor Fox.
Yes. 2024-32 Tax Appeal Attorney Professional Service Appointment for 2024.
comments.
Yep.
This is this one's particularly challenging for me. There are a handful of appointments, obviously, we just went through them, that we disagree with the mayor on. The council believes that we should have the right to approve or consent to the mayor's nominations. The mayor believes he does not need the council's approval. That is why the mayor continues to bring lawsuits against the council. I'm stating the obvious. This particular disagreement, though, between the mayor and all four council members truly makes no sense. In other discussions, the mayor demands that we, one, preserve continuity of government. And yet the mayor will not continue to use the attorney who has worked with our tax assessor for many years serving Bradley Beach. Two, the mayor demands that we listen to our professionals, and yet our professional, our tax assessor, strongly recommends that we keep our current attorney, who is an expert in his field with many years of experience, many more years of experience than the mayor's proposed replacement. In two separate emails sent to the mayor and the BA over the past week, our tax assessor has pleaded for the mayor to support his desired tax appeals attorney, Greg Pasquale. And finally, number three, the mayor demands that we as we make these assignments, best serve Bradley Beach. Regarding the new tax appeal attorney, the mayor has told the council that he is confident and comfortable. This is a quote, confident and comfortable that our needs are being met with this new assignment. And yet the mayor never attempted to call the tax assessor when the tax assessor personally recommended that we keep the current attorney. The mayor wouldn't acknowledge that the replacement attorney is relatively inexperienced. And I'm told by the tax assessor, the new attorney has never gone to a trial for a tax appeal case. Even now, there is an existing tax appeal in court for which the borough is at risk for tens of thousands of dollars. This would be defended by a new trial attorney if we follow the mayor's choice. In an email sent to the mayor and our BA today, the tax assessor reported that over the last 4 years, the borough has had to refund about $4,000 in taxes we collected out of a total appeals amount that approximates $400,000. I know these things because I called our tax assessor to understand his requests and his concerns. I texted the mayor this morning and pleaded with him to actually reach out to our tax collector to hear these concerns himself. Unfortunately, Mayor Fox prefers to play political favorites rather than continue to use the tax appeal attorney who is most qualified to serve Bradley Beach and protect us from hundreds of thousands of dollars of potential risk. Oh, and the firm Mr. Fox wishes to retain is Shane Schaefer, PC. By the way, Schaefer is continually spelled wrong, Erica, in our documents. It's SHAFFER, SCHAFFER. Mr. Fox wishes to retain Shane Schaefer, attorney and partner. Peg Schaefer is one of the mayor's strongest political allies. So I wanted to make sure the
Wealth of information,
political ally-
political ally.
It's so obvious. We're expunging very credible, talented resources
So
that can protect the borough.
you're actually putting us at somewhat of a risk here, Councilman, but I'll cover why that is. Number one, we've had the current tax attorney since sometime last year.
October last year.
When the other tax attorney
Ray Pasquale,
left.
Shane Schaefer.
Yeah, I know who it is. Thank you.
Saying it for the benefit of the audience.
I think the audience can pick up on what's being said. Okay. So anyway, I spoke to Shane. Actually, Shane Schaefer contacted me when this change was made. It assured me that, can I have water, please? Assured me that we had adequate coverage and that we had the appropriate expertise in place. We have, I think, 3 cases currently on the docket. I've actually spoken to the new tax attorney. She's got a handle on that. I'm not an expert, but she's certainly got a handle on this. And she will perform more than adequately. Any case that goes to tax court is reviewed by a small board within Shane Schaefer's practice. So, the implication that this is a political friend or this is a favor. This company has capability and capacity. They have a number of associates in that company. The company that split off didn't tell us they split off, left under some questionable circumstances I've been made aware of. And I'd rather do business with a company that I know has the capability and capacity. To say that somebody doesn't have experience or they can't do the job, we've hired that firm and that firm has delivered for us. So I take exception to the fact that you're implying that that this is anything but what it is, and that is, I get contacted by the company last year expressing to me that we are covered. Didn't hear from anybody else, didn't hear from the people that broke off, because apparently they did it in kind of questionable manner. I would suggest that, Peg Schaefer's a friend of mine, but, when you talk about a political ally, she has nothing to do with Bradley Beach. So, I think that's just a ludicrous statement, which is unfortunate, but, I do know though that, you've made very disparaging comments about Ms. Schaefer, which,
No, not about Ms. Schaefer. I
And all about
I
Ms.
simply
Schaefer.
said she's a political ally.
no, you've made disparaging comments to me in the past about Ms.
That's
Schaefer.
not true.
Yes, it is true. I'm sorry. You
That-
made comments about her and why you did not support her being our municipal attorney 3 years ago. So yes, you did.
Those weren't disparaging comments. I explained why I didn't
Well,
support.
when you.
We're not here to argue. I simply
Well, now
want.
you don't want to argue, but you want
No.
to disparage me and you want to make this bad
I'm trying
comment.
to let,
Order.
I'm trying to let the public know what this nomination of yours means. Please prove to it. You had a conversation with Shane Schaefer and now you feel confident. I'm told by our expert, this woman has never tried a tax appeal case ever. She joined.
I don't know if that's the case.
Okay, well, maybe you can investigate that before you
Well,
nominate.
no, I did talk to shit. No,
She joined Shane Schaefer in October of last year. She's been there 3 months. You're confident she can do this work. It could cost this borough $100,000. And one case that is active right now. And all I'm asking is, can you confirm what you believe to be is a very adequate replacement? I'm not hearing any evidence to that effect.
I just gave you the evidence. Unfortunately, you don't want to listen to it. This is not somebody with 3 months experience. She's been out of law school for a number of years. Does she have the experience of?
Has she ever tried a case, a tax appeal case?
She's gone to tax appeal boards. Yes, she has.
Okay, I don't know what to say. We have a letter from our
Can we
tax
vote?
assessor.
Yeah, well, can we just vote?
Vote,
Yes,
yeah.
I would agree.
I just want the public to know what's happening here. Go ahead, vote, please.
2024-32 tax appeal attorney, professional services to Shane Schaefer. Make a motion. Second?
Second.
Ms. Noble,
No,
Mr. Gubatose,
Nope.
Ms. Mahoney,
no,
Mr. Weber,
No,
Mayor Fox.
Yes. Last one, 2024-40 Borough Auditor Professional Services, Oliver and Associates, make a motion to approve 2024-40.
second,
Ms. Noble,
yes,
Mr. Gubatose,
Yes.
Ms. Mahoney,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
yes,
Mayor Fox.
Yes. Okay, we'll now go to mayor comments and council.
Was that number 33? I'm sorry.
That was number
40.
40.
40, okay. And if I could just make a statement about number 40, I have to make an amendment to the resolution. We're doing that as a non-parent open, and I need a Google in the resolution. It doesn't state that, so it will be corrected when posted to the website.
thank you, Erica.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Okay, I'm gonna try to be brief here with comments. 2024 came up on us pretty quick here. I do want to start by thanking Public Works, Public Safety Team, the police, fire, EMS, OEM, borough staff, the council, and volunteers that made 2023 a success. We continue to be in a great position as a community. We're blessed with opportunities and challenges. I think if we continue to work in a smart, unified manner, we can continue to improve in 2024. So 2023, we continue to have a pretty good record around safety, security, and services. Our police department, EMS, and fire team kept us safe, and OEM worked very closely with the police and the other organizations to make sure that happened. We did have one unfortunate fatality from a safety perspective this year at the north part of town, which was very unfortunate. That's our first traffic fatality in, I want to say 30 years, but this team's dedicated to keeping us safe. On affordability, 2021 and 2022, we basically had virtually zero tax increase on our municipal levy, the 40% of the total tax levy. That was not the case in 2023. We're focused on reducing and managing our spend level. The good news is that our municipal tax rate has consistently come down, but the answer to how to focus on this is really on spend and being smart with shared services. On Main Street, we've done preliminary work in 2021 and 2022, but we've never really gotten traction on Main Street. That's something I'll talk about now as I go into 2024. We continue to have some big opportunities in town, and we're going to continue to focus on those. I mentioned last year the showroom theater. If those who haven't seen the new partial sign they have up, they are beginning work this spring, and hopefully we'll have that. They will have that up and running towards the early summer of this year. 319 Lorraine, you know, we've made progress. It's been somewhat slow, but I think we're nearing final disposition on that for 2024. But I think we need to renew our strategy on Main Street. We've got a lot that we can potentially do there. You know, if I stated last year that our beachfront is a priceless asset that we have, and I think Main Street is kind of viewed as our 401k. It's something if we invest in, we will get return on it, both from a prestige of a town perspective and economically for employing people in town, and having a great Main Street that we currently have, but I think we can do better. Again, I said we did some preliminary work in 2021 and 22, but we really didn't get that focus. So I really want to try to get that focus for 2024. We'll continue to assess improvements at the beachfront. We've got some coastal resilience and other grants lined up. Hopefully they happen this year. So beyond the affordability Main Street beachfront, we do have infrastructure, a lot of infrastructure projects that we continue to work on. We've got a couple of spots where we're going to be repairing sewers and roads this year. The outfall pipe on Sylvan Lake hopefully will happen towards the end of this year. Hopefully these coastal resilience grants will come through, and then we've got the parks that we are continuing to improve on. Affordable housing, we're in the throes of that. We've been in the throes of that for a couple of years now, but hopefully we'll see an improvement there. I wrote in my newsletter this past week that we are looking at what we're doing in 2024 around our meetings, and we're going to try to break our business meeting and workshops and try to have a different focus. So meeting 1 of the month would be workshop related, meeting 2 of the month. That doesn't count January because it's a special kind of month. Meeting 2 would be more the business meeting. But the how is as important. You know, how as a community do we conduct ourselves? I think we can do better in how we interact with these meetings. You know, I think sometimes we follow the track of national politics, which is not a good track for anybody who watches any of the shows on national politics. So hopefully we'll be able to address and improve that. Councilman Weber and I have been discussing this in the last few weeks, and I think we can make some improvements. We'll be working on that in the coming weeks. So, you know, we'll continue to ask for feedback and communications from residents. I know that we've got a lot of challenges, but we also have a great community. And my last 2 commercial points here, and then I'll turn it over to Councilwoman Mahoney. Giving a little heads up. That tomorrow there is a first of a series of Zoom meetings on wellness. You can sign up on the website, and on January 20th, I want to plug a fundraiser for the fire and first aid group. It's also on the website. It'll be at the firehouse. It is a music dance kind of deal. Registration is limited, but the BBBCA is working with the fire department and with the first aid team for a fundraising function. So we're hoping that's very successful. So again, thank you and welcome to 2024. I'll turn it over to Councilwoman Mahoney.
You know what? I forgot I have to look at data or something.
It's like you and me both.
I know, I forgot I have to look at a date.
I can go.
Yeah, all right, thanks. Thanks, sorry.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
great.
All right. Sorry.
Okay, I'm the liaison for the Shade Tree Commission. I attended the meeting on Wednesday, January 3rd. They did have one application, 610 Fifth Avenue, to remove 5 trees with 8 replacements. So these are positive things that we're seeing from this commission. And they also suggested that they plant native species that are from the planting list created by the Shade Tree Commission as well. And they're looking to plant another 50 trees this year, expanding our tree canopy again. That's amazing. And they're still working on the oldest trees in Bradley Beach, and it's expanding. There's quite a lot of trees that are older than the town or the borough of Bradley Beach. So, oh, and the Green Fair is going to be April 21st, so mark your calendar. I also attended I am the liaison for the Board of Ed. I attended their meeting December 19th. And good news, it looks like they might get a new boiler in this year. They applied through the New Jersey Natural Gas Program. That's very positive. The student representative was Darren Ortiz. He did a great job reporting about the garden club and computer coding and other goings on at the school. Also, I'd like to thank the Board of Ed. They're a great group. The superintendent is Michael Heidelberg, who did a great job. David Tonzola is their CFO, and the volunteers, they work together beautifully. They have committees, their meetings are quick, they're positive, and they work together beautifully. So kudos to them. Next is the Bradley Beach Tourism. With the dawn of the new year comes one of the most stacked lineups of events in Bradley Beach's recent history. 2024 appears to be one of the biggest years for the town's travel and tourism industry, and the Tourism Commission is looking forward to announcing the season. Some things to look forward to in the new year is the return of the annual Green Fair, April 21st, a jam-packed summer full of opera, line and salsa dance lessons, and return of Saturdays in the park. Yay. Also returning is the Commission's partnership with the Brookdale Public Radio Songwriters on the Beach concert series, bringing music to Newark Avenue Beach on Thursday nights. New this summer will be a summer movie series once a month from June through August. Come September, the Commission will kick off Hispanic Heritage Month with the return of Viva Bradley Beach. Headed into fall, the Commission will celebrate the season with the return of the Bradley Boo, a special Halloween movie screening in Riley Park, and finish the year with the annual Christmas tree lighting. There's really something for people of all interests here: arts, culture, music. Bradley Beach offers both environmental and wellness tourism as well. It's truly a year-round town, and the Commission welcomes back return visitors and plans to introduce much more to what Bradley Beach has to offer. Great job. And just one personal note for me as we look back on 2023, I would like to thank the residents of Bradley Beach. Thank you for attending the meetings. Thank you for tuning into the meetings, asking questions, making comments, sending me emails, and thank you for the phone calls too. It really helps me make a lot of decisions that are very important to all of us. And it's been my honor to serve you. And I look forward to upholding my oath I took a year ago and proudly serving you for the next 2 years. I'd also like to thank the employees. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Meredith. Who am I missing? Oh, Pat, you're here. Hey, G, thank you.
Yeah,
Anybody else I'm missing? Bill, he's on OEM. Thank you. You're all great. And you all work so hard, and it's truly appreciated. And I wanted to thank everyone at the holiday party that the mayor attended, but the council was not invited. I was hurt and embarrassed that I wasn't there. I was informed that the acting business administrator said there were concerns raised by some borough employees, so therefore the council was not included. I was shocked. That was never brought to our attention, and this was never addressed sooner. I have the utmost respect for all the hardworking borough employees, and we all need to work together. All of us, the governing body, the employees, the volunteers need to work together to best serve the residents of Bradley Beach. I do hope 2024 brings communication, collaboration, and real progress that we can all be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Gubitosi.
Okay, I wanted to start by just making sure everyone picked up last month when we voted, the council voted to go into a shared services agreement with Ocean Township to bring in a CFO. So effective January 1st of this year, Ricky Gartz.
Yep.
Has become our shared CFO. Three of the council members here, Mr. Weber, I don't believe could attend, but the rest of us and the mayor interviewed him, and very impressive gentleman. 15 or 20 years as an auditor, another 15 or 20 years as a CFO. Seems to really know his stuff. I spoke briefly with our business administrator who said he's jumped in 2 feet. Again, even though his start date was January 1st, I believe he actually kind of got his feet wet a week or two before that. So, you know, I love the enthusiasm as he comes to Bradley Beach. I know, Meredith, I don't know if you plan to discuss timing, but I know he's going to work really hard with you to try to get the council budget as early as possible. You did mention to me that it probably won't be done by the end of January.
Correct, and actually I spoke to Ricky about it today, just about, and you know, his first thing was, have you made the governing body aware that the local finance board has extended the deadline? And so I said, yes, you know, however, here at Bradley Beach, we do have our local ordinance. I don't think certainly not by January 17th. I don't think that we'll have a budget to be able to produce. We are hoping for the end of the month. Again, some of this does tie into the 2022 audit. We need those closing balances in order to do the 23 closing balances and be able to do surplus analysis and all that. So,
And I really mean this not to put you on the spot, but to say thank you for the efforts to date to get, you know, this up and running. And I know you're very committed to getting us, the council, that data well in advance compared to, you know, where we struggled last year. But I have a police activity report, so thank you again to Detective Lieutenant Terry Browning for compiling these reports that I read to everybody every meeting. The December report is actually fairly brief. We had a local subject was arrested for theft, and police arrested a subject on an active contempt of court warrant. So it was a slow month for the police department.
We like it that way.
No, that's the way it
Yeah.
should be.
You're doing a great job.
Happy
Thank you.
holidays, happy
Yeah.
new year. Staying on the topic of the police, you may have all noticed that we passed tonight resolution, it was part of the consent agenda, but a resolution 2024-22, which basically was a resolution that creates a shared service with Belmar for our K9 division, our K9 unit. So we authorize that shared service. I'm very excited about this agreement because it recognizes the wonderful work that a small team of our police officers have accomplished in creating this K9 unit that I believe is the envy of Monmouth County. Recently, I had the pleasure of speaking to a few of our officers who manage this unit. The stories they shared over 30 minutes or so were fascinating to me. I was so impressed that I asked that they might consider making a presentation to our public, perhaps at an upcoming council meeting in April or May. The officers I spoke with and Captain Arnold, who I also asked about this afterwards, seemed very willing to do so. So I'd like to formally ask our acting business administrator, Ms. DeMarco, if that's something she might be able to work with the police department to schedule.
Mhm.
And I don't know if we could do it as part of a council meeting or maybe as a separate presentation.
Well, we're gonna do these departmental readout meetings as part of the workshops. We can do it in that context.
All right, so, and they shared with me that the first quarter of the year is tough, but hitting April or May would probably work well. Is that correct, Captain?
Correct.
Okay. And my final comment is just, Mayor, you mentioned your January 6th newsletter and the 2 stages of meetings. And I had a lot of the public call me because there's some element of confusion on this. A lot of folks were concerned that we gave up 1 business meeting a month, and that was not my understanding. Erica, you're shaking your head no. I do.
I know you're keeping it at council business meetings with a workshop /
With one meeting a month would combine the feedback and the whatever the workshop.
right, but there's still business after the workshop.
And
Okay.
that's all I want to say. I wanted to assure our residents that we still will have the functionality to conduct 2 business meetings a month. The assumption is 1 can be pretty light, but if we need to introduce an ordinance, if we need to introduce a resolution, if there's any sort of urgency to that, we'll have the ability to do that twice a month. So I just want to make sure that was clear, because Mr. Mayor, it wasn't as clear, I think, as you might have intended it in the newsletter. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Yeah, I got ready. Okay. I was just appointed to the Environmental Commission, so I'll have things to report out once I start going there. But the Land Use Board is gonna meet on January 18th. We'll have our reorg meeting. I just want to thank the OEM, the DPW, fire who was on call, and the police who actually came to the front of my building to remove 3 very large orange construction cans that were rolling around the street last night. Everybody did an amazing job. The wind was whipping, and DPW, of course, this morning was on it. So thank you all for keeping us safe. Well done, everybody. Thank you so much. Great way to start off the year, not with the storm, but with everybody working together.
Well, a good
Yeah.
storm.
It
didn't hurt.
was, yeah. Nobody was hurt and everybody did a great job. So thank you all very much. It was wonderful. Going back to what, Council President DeNoble said, and I think this goes to how we should move forward. But I think we need to take a look back. Unfortunately, the council wasn't afforded the ability or the opportunity to attend the holiday party. And I was given a history lesson as to perhaps why we were left out. I wasn't quite 3 months on the job when I received an email on December 21st from our acting BA, Mr. Marco. And according to Mr. Marco, borough employees had communicated to her that some borough employees watched the council meetings, and during these meetings, their work is often criticized, demeaned, and underappreciated. And when these comments, these public remarks are not disputed by the borough council, it creates an environment where the staff feel they are not supported by the council. Though some of these comments are valid, most are received as being hurtful, uninformed, and lead to feelings of frustration. On December 6th, this governing body passed a resolution asking the administration to provide policies to protect resident confidentiality when residents submit a complaint about zoning, code, law enforcement. Specifically, this new policy would prevent pitting neighbor against neighbor when residents call the borough to report the breaking of an ordinance, whether it be noise, construction, parking, etc. This was in response to council listening to concern raised by residents. In her email, Mr. Marco cited the 12-6 ordinance and stated, no formal complaints have been received in 2023 regarding employees breaking confidentiality. Finally, Mr. Marco shared employee concerns that arose because I had dropped off a de minimis holiday gift for a hardworking employee. I simply wanted to thank this employee for going above and beyond to help the council. In this same email, Mr. Marco shared with me the following observation. I'm sure the staff would appreciate thank you notes for all their hard work this year. Much like the Christmas gift you gave to blank, which all employees saw you delivering. If you need a staff list to address these thank you notes, please let me know. Strangely, I had dropped off this gift almost 2 weeks after the holiday party had occurred. So if anyone felt slighted, as Mr. Marco indicated, it shouldn't have had consequences on the invite list. We can't fix what we don't know is broken, and simply taking down the out of order signs won't remedy a problem. I would like to echo Council President DeNoble by saying we all serve the residents of Bradley Beach. That includes the mayor, the council, the business administrator, and all the borough employees. Personally, I believe there is a solution for everything. Certainly, we must promote an environment of goodwill and collaboration among the administration, the employees, and the council. It might be annoying and tedious for us to keep doing this runaround, but the only ones truly suffering are the residents of Bradley Beach. I look forward to a transformative and collaborative 2024. And those are my comments.
Thank you. Councilman Weber.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to congratulate Roy Christensen personally. That was great. Glad he got to do that, and I'm glad they're all out of here and probably having fun. So, and same congratulations to all the members of the fire department and first aid squad. The new officers were sworn in on January 1st, so congrats to all of them. I'm honored to be their liaison for this 2024 year, so super. Something that Mr. Noble missed about the school is that the girls' basketball team beat Deal 30-4 or something ridiculous like that, but there was great sportsmanship regardless of the blowout there, which was really good. Okay, so I didn't give my council comments in December, so you're gonna get them now because it was a very long meeting and we just skipped over it for brevity. Back in November, I went to League of Municipalities. You know, I didn't stay in AC. I drove back and forth because that's what I like to do. I attended sessions on resiliency planning, shade trees, and on plastic waste. Speaking of plastic waste, I think I have suggested, and hopefully this will come to pass, that I would think we should discontinue the curbside pickup of plastic film. I don't know if that's happening in 2020, but that would be happening. That'd be great. It's just that, you know, no pride here. It's a program I brought to the town, and somebody else was paying for it essentially first time around, and then that stopped, and we kind of missed the boat that, oh yeah, they stopped paying for it. So I think we should still have dumpsters. People can collect their plastic waste and bring it down to the dumpster, just like they would with anything else for the town yard. So also back in December, I went to a webinar on energy aggregation. Does anybody remember energy aggregation? We are part of the Sustainable Monmouth Energy Aggregation, which is an attempt of 7 towns to, you know, pool their people power and buy power, you know, in aggregate essentially. Hopefully we get it a little bit cheaper than what JCP&L is offering, and hopefully we get a little more renewable energy in the mix. The markets have not been favorable. Like, we basically decided to do this at a very inopportune time. So the auctions that have happened just haven't met the criteria that we set. So we basically haven't done it. The next auction is in February. I will let people know. We'll see if the rates are better and it pans out this time. But again, the idea is people that do nothing, they would just essentially save some money on their electric bill, and we would be buying more renewable energy in the mix. Also in December, I participated in a regional shade tree gathering, which happened in Manasquan. It's just all shade tree commissions from all up and down the town. It was kind of great because some towns, you know, we feed off each other, and sometimes like ideas of things are happening in our town, and we take ideas from other towns. So it's a good little gathering. I want to just ask about or mention the change in the meeting time for this meeting to be at 6 o'clock. Are we doing this all year?
No,
Okay, that's good.
No.
Because most of us almost missed this meeting. It's good. 6:30 is good. I'm gonna be involved in an effort on unifying the branding of the town. I don't know if anybody else notices, but the words Bradley Beach is written in about 15 different ways in 15 different places. And I'd like to kind of bring that together. I mentioned this to the mayor and to the acting borough administrator, and I believe they agree. And, you know, I've put together a couple folks, Councilwoman DeNoble, and some marketing professionals that could maybe help us just kind of unify the branding. Not really big change, but just kind of get us all on the same page. I think that would be good for the town. So look for that early in 2024. Going back to December now, there was some bad behavior at the last council meeting, the December council meeting. Somebody in the back of the room called somebody that sits up here a name that would turn our nice G-rated council meetings into a PG-13 movie. So that is to say that's, yeah, wasn't a very nice word. I wrote a letter about it. It was in the poster. Good news is I called up that person because somebody I know, and I asked them to apologize to people that it really meant something to, and they did. That was good news. You may have seen in my letter to the paper that I said that the mayor was going to address this in the mayor's newsletter. It wasn't, so I'm just discussing it here. Let's just, you know, it's obviously not acceptable, and it's a new year, and let's just start acting like it. And if you're going to use language like that, just please don't come to council meetings. And that's crazy for me to say because I'm all about participation and transparency. But if you're going to act like that, just please don't come to council meetings. Now for like some super important stuff. 2023 was the hottest year ever recorded. Possibly the hottest year in the last 125,000 years, but it is hard to say when you look back that far. So with this most recent storm, we had the water come up in between the dunes and the boardwalk. Again, this is the second time in a matter of like 3 weeks. This concerns me greatly. It has always concerned me. I believe we need to get really serious about closing the gaps in our dunes. You know, if the dunes are a barrier's meant to keep something out or to keep something in. Not unlike you having a fence around your yard, and if you had a fence that had like 13 giant gaping holes in it, it wouldn't be much of a fence, right? Well, same thing with our dunes, they're not really acting like much like dunes. If we've got 13 gaping holes that are 50 feet wide, I believe we can close those up, build walkovers so you can get to the beach. Some of those walkovers are gonna have ADA ramps, but I believe that's the direction we need to be going in. That is the extent of my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, we'll take public comments. Yes. Sorry, it was you, but you're next. Yes.
I'm Shauna Greenblatt, 414 Monmouth Avenue. First of all, I just want to thank Mayor, Council, for everything that you do for Bradley Beach. It's a thankless job, and the residents very much appreciate all the time and effort that you put into the borough. I have a couple of questions, I think, to Mr. Cannon. And I'm just a layperson, but on the appointments where there were no votes, what exactly does that mean in terms of the positions? Is it a rollover or?
According to Judge English's August 16th decision, the people who were there in the prior year just remain in place.
They remain in place for the remainder of the year? I mean, for a year, the year?
Until their successor, if they're appointed and qualified, which means that until the mayor and council essentially agree on a replacement.
So going forward, potentially, I mean, so number one, that's really not putting any sense of stability for the individuals who are continuing as to how long they may be in place. You know, people who earn a living doing this don't have a sense of certainty that their jobs are there for them. Is that accurate?
I mean, as one of those people, that's what you sign up for when you take a public service job. So for me, I understand your point, but you know, it's just kind of what you sign up for in these positions.
So what we can anticipate going forward is that at a certain point, there will be more appointments that will be voted on and potentially replace the holdovers. Is that?
That's up to the mayor.
Okay, and that's all under the Faulkner Act currently, that it requires the consent, advice and consent.
That was the open question last year that we went to Judge English to answer.
Okay. And then with respect to communications and the acting borough administrator 90-day appointment memo, how does that square? Like, what is the status of that at this point?
That is before Judge English presently. It will be decided hopefully on February 9th. It's very complicated in terms of there's a lot of, you know, it's another open question within the code. As you know, the council passed an ordinance. The mayor's challenged that ordinance. And so I just want to be clear, Mr. Marco is a holdover, just like I described before. So regardless of whether the, you know, whatever votes or memos happen up here, as far as that's concerned, she has this position. Until the
90-day appointments. Is that how it works?
I'll give you my opinion on it. All right. My opinion is that the mayor's lawyer shares this opinion as well. Mr. Marco was appointed when the ordinance was in place before it was repealed. So the notion that the ordinance is repealed doesn't affect her position. She just becomes a holdover like the other people that the mayor and council don't agree on. That's the opinion that I've given to the borough, and I understand that the mayor's attorney agrees with that in terms of the context of the lawsuit. So that's the state of affairs. Whether what paper comes out in between or anyone says it does is, I don't frankly think material until Judge English rules on February 9th as to whether the ordinance is valid or not in the first place. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, so.
And that's a terrible answer, but like I don't know if the judge should answer it.
Okay.
I've given my opinion that it doesn't affect her position. My understanding is not my understanding. I talked to Vicky Clinton, the mayor's lawyer. She agrees with that as well.
Right.
And so that's the opinion of the borough, unless Judge English changes that somehow.
Okay, so February 2nd.
The judges scheduled the argument on these cross motions, having to do with the last decision for February 9th.
February 9th, okay.
He had it last time, I'll note, they had the oral argument in July, didn't render a decision until like August 16th, so it doesn't necessarily mean to be answered on the 9th. But I also don't think the decision, I just want to be clear that the opinion, my opinion, and I'm spoken to the labor attorney about this, spoken to the mayor's attorney, and there's these two attorneys that agree that regardless of what Judge English decides, if he strikes down the ordinance, merits a holdover, if he lets the ordinance, if the ordinance remains, strikes down the ordinance, then the mayor will have these appointment memos. And if the ordinance is upheld, then merits a holdover. So the effect is the same, that's what I'm getting at.
Even with the, if an advice and consent result is a no, then where, how does that, I mean, is that all
Holdover,
part of?
That's all part of it until the successor is appointed and qualified.
Okay,
So in the absence of advice and consent, there's a holdover appointment until the successor is appointed and qualified. That was Judge English's ruling in August. How it affects these little machinations, and like I said, I'm not gonna, the mayor obviously has a position in it, and his memo is consistent with that position. So I'm not gonna, tell him he can't do it. But in terms of the material effect on the position itself, as merited, that whatever judge decides that, or the memo doesn't really have an effect, in my opinion.
okay. So can I just ask, I know that my time was up, and some of it was with the Q&A that we just went through. Do I have an opportunity to ask another question?
You could give it to someone else if he doesn't know, but.
Just email it.
How about it's a public question, really, that I'd like to ask.
We'll put it in the minutes, the response.
Well, if you want to email it to me, I can put it in the minutes.
So I'll pass it along to somebody else to ask the
Yes.
question. then.
Wait.
Okay,
all right.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Brigitte McGuire, 610 Brinley Ave. Okay. Although I appreciated getting through this night rather quickly, I did not hear public comments on agenda items being announced along with others in this audience. So I would appreciate just to slow things down a bit as far as things being announced clearly, please. I appreciate Council President DeNoble announcing about the tourism liaison appointment because I didn't hear if that was announced either during the run through of appointments. So thank you for that. On to a huge concern of mine. So the mayor illegally moved money in and out of tourism trust. He overrides the tourism law as far as process goes. Regardless of how he wants it written, it is today's current law. He has now what I understand to be a harassment claim against him by the tourism director, and he uses his strong mayor abilities to put himself on as liaison. Are we living in a bad comedy? Like, what is going on here? Moving money, overriding laws, and now this is the liaison? Like, what is happening here? Can we get a no confidence vote? A public censure, anything? To start the new year this way, along with how Mr. Cannon has been targeted by the mayor, suing the council again, please tell me how we, the residents, have any trust moving forward positively. We don't. Council, in this new year, I ask for a noise ordinance change, as I asked in the past, so it is not used against the people as it was for me the day after I put a recall Mayor Fox sign in my lawn. Council, I also ask for a change in government to get moving via ordinance. We cannot afford to live under a Fox dictatorship or any person's dictatorship any longer. And had we done this back when Tim Sexsmith mentioned it, we would possibly have been in a new form of government today, not allowing Larry Fox to continue his strong mayor self-serving nonsense. So I urge that we move forward with this as soon as possible. It may be a 2-year process, but here we are a couple years after already speaking it out loud. I wish I could be more positive at this New Year meeting, but until we have a mayor willing to respect democracy and serve the public, I will have things to complain about. I do still wish you all a happy and healthy New Year as our lives thank goodness, are made up of much more than these dirty politics. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Julie Titus, 605 Newark Avenue. I have to also make the comment of the fact of the matter, number one, yes, this is a thankless job for all of you. And I do thank you, all of you, for taking on these roles. I do have to say that I agree with Ms. McGuire. There are we in the twilight zone? Because I don't understand what's going on here. Mayor Fox, why would you put this borough in a potential liability situation because of the fact that you want to run every single thing in this town? The fact that someone has made a harassment claim against you, you should remove yourself from any potential situations. This is just business 101 and common sense 101. Please remove your ego and let Mr. Noble or whomever else run tourism, and let's get with continuity and the best interest of the town, not your best interest. Okay, because as an HR professional, my mind is just exploding hearing what I'm hearing from this dais today. Secondly, I would like to also address the holiday situation here, because I'm flabbergasted over that also as an HR professional. Number one is I don't believe for 1 second that the employees of the borough of Bradley Beach have anything but good regards for our council members. I don't. You are weaponizing our staff by not inviting them, and an unbelievable memo. And again, as an HR professional and a business professional, I know, Mayor, you don't believe I am, but that's okay. That was sent by Mr. Marco. Once again, shows me the fact of your lack of experience that you would even put that into a memo. You were fighting to save your job tooth and nail here. I have no confidence. The fact is that either you are a person who is going to bring people together, but the fact that you are using staff and even put that nonsense into an email is mind-boggling. What professional would do that? That's almost a form of retaliation. Either do what we say we do, or guess what? You're not going to be included. Again, you're fighting tooth and nail for this job. Show us that you have the ability to do this. That is a shame. That's just a shame.
Thank you.
No, my time is not done.
Yeah, your
You
time's
get to- No, it's not.
What?
No, it's not. You don't get to cut me
I
off.
think we have
No,
5
it's
minutes.
But please.
I
No.
don't appreciate, no, I'm sorry. I don't appreciate you disparaging our employees.
I didn't disparage your.
Oh, yeah, you did.
No, the fact of the matter is a memo was written and I am addressing the memo. It's a public record now. They
Public
discussed it
record.
here.
Please don't
Okay.
disparage our employees.
I'm not aren't I talking facts? Was a memo written to Ms. Mahoney, yes or no?
It was an email.
Okay, email, okay, memo, email. So it's a fact. It's not hearsay. So what I'm asking is please stop this divisiveness already in this town and let's all work together. You are all here for public service, not your personal agenda. And sir, we have stores that we need to get together. We have roads, we have buildings. I have no confidence in your leadership whatsoever to do anything on Main Street. Did you recall? You still haven't finished Newark Avenue parking stripes. When is that gonna get done? Everything you've touched has fallen apart. So again, sir, focus, stay focused. You don't need to be on tourism. Focus on the bigger things. You talk about your business experience. Well, for this last year, let's see you put that into play, because what's going on here is just nonsense. And again, please, let's all work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Davidson 3044. I just wanted to know if either you, Mr. Marco, or Mr. Mayor are aware of a house that's being renovated on 4th Avenue that has a side balcony.
Yes, we're aware of that and it's being worked on.
What do you mean being worked on?
It's
Because
being
that's
addressed.
illegal,
It's
right?
being addressed.
Okay, because an appeal was filed with the land use board, a stop work order was issued, and I believe that, well, I know that the land use board took jurisdiction. I'm not sure when it's scheduled, but I believe it will be February for a hearing.
So are we opened up now to more lawsuits? Because we just finished with the Januzzi lawsuit, right? If that's your name.
Well, the land use board will be hearing it, so that would be the next step in the process.
But the neighbor could file a lawsuit against the borough, right? The homeowner who's doing the renovation could file it, right? Because
Well, anyone can file a lawsuit against the borough for anything that they want.
well,
really.
if the borough
I think the next step, I think it's too early to really make a determination, but the land use board is taking jurisdiction.
because neighbors talk, and supposedly she was told, the homeowner was told by the borough that it was legal. So that's a huge mistake from
A
that.
zoning permit was issued, which has since been revoked, and a stop work order has been issued.
So my question again is, so we're exposed to now more lawsuits.
It's going in front of the land use board for a determination of, for an
So that's
appeal
a yes.
zoning
That's a yes,
officer's determination.
okay.
But,
So I want,
I mean, that's the proper place for it to go.
Yeah.
So the lawsuit is not because your neighbor's building something, it's for a lack of due process, so it's not like the zoning permit was issued in error. And if someone's building on it, then the neighbor has the right to bring a lawsuit if the borough doesn't stop the work. It's not that you stop the work. And it's going to the land use board. There might be litigation that flows out of the land use board, but the neighbor's claim isn't that against the borough for the zoning permit. The claim is that I was negated, I was not allowed to have due process for
what
the
about the
zoning.
homeowner that got a yes, and now the work has stopped on her property, his or her property.
That really stinks for them, but the borough is technically not liable because we have immunity under the Tort Claims Act for a mistake like that.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're not looking to even
As
more.
long as it's at the land use board, it's not, and
No,
that's where it belongs, that's where it belonged to begin with, so. It
Okay.
stinks for the homeowner, but you're back to where we started and there shouldn't be any litigation.
Well, it stinks for everybody because it's now neighbors get mad and, it's just like it stinks for everybody.
We've been there before.
Yeah, well, we never learn from our mistakes, do we? That's the whole point. We never learn, right? Nothing is ever done properly. Councilman Weber, I thought it was interesting when you said branding. So I work in Seaburg. And I get to see every day different people from different areas. Council people, mayors, police officers, police chiefs, lawyers from all different municipalities. And you know what they started calling Bradley Beach? Bradley Bama. Bradley Bama. That's how your colleagues in other places, your colleagues are referring to this place.
I'm not gonna suggest that for the.
Don't. It might be more appropriate, but everybody needs to get their acts together. If you don't understand what Bradley Bama means, it's Alabama, which is not in a nice way saying Alabama, because Alabama is sometimes used.
Right.
So Bradley Bama is what they think. We think we're very backwards here. So I think that maybe keep that in the back of your mind, because a lot of these people come and they tell me a lot of stuff that they seem to know what's going on in this borough that we don't know, the residents, but they sure know a lot that's going on. There's a lot of talk, and I think that you all should be aware of that. So think about that, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thomas J. Cohen, 612 Third Avenue, and based on Ms. Davidson's comments. I just want to say that it is disturbing that this is existing on Fourth Avenue. But what I think is the teachable moment here is that residents have to now spend money on attorneys to protect their own property, which should have been protected by the borough in the first place. So this is the teachable moment here, and I hope this doesn't happen again. I mean, it really, the Januzzi case, again, we're out of pocket, almost 20 grand. That's without the money that was paid by the JIF. So it's just another disturbing factor. And then now, Mr. Cannon, I do have a question for you. I'm a little puzzled. You got to help me out. So Cleary, Giacobbe, Alfieri, and Jacobs are not the holdover. So how can they be nominated and be the lawyer now?
If the council had that voted yes, they would be the attorney or not.
So they are not the attorney.
No.
No, the
Doc?
resolution.
Are you the attorney there now?
That's why I'm here.
Well, I see you at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I just want to establish that. I know I'm a little bit slow, but so thank you. But I do want to point out that, you know, it is, you know, something that Mayor Fox calls, you know, politics. So the September 24th, 2020 Co-Star, the headline, with a 4-color picture, Assemblyman endorses candidate in mayoralty race. That was Assemblyman Sean Keen, Republican Assemblyman from Legislative District 30. So it is politics, and it's interesting that Republican Assemblywoman Vicky Flynn from Legislative District 13 is your attorney in suing the town. Wow, it's pretty interesting how these assembly people work for us. We really got to think about that next time we got to take a vote. But again, it's disturbing. I look forward to attending Judge English's courtroom on February 9th at 2:30. I would advise any other residents who are free or, you know, to attend. Being there in person, you know, just like being in this forum in person, tells you a lot about what's going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes.
Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park condominiums. This was a very confusing meeting. It is not helpful to mumble and push things through so that we can't even process it to say, oh, consent agenda, I need to raise my hand now. So I've now lost 5 minutes and didn't hear half of what you said. I'm not that quick, I admit it. But mumbling and reading rapidly is certainly not befitting this audience. You want to do branding. I know that when I nag it up, something happens. Thank you. I don't know how you're going to get to it though, because I recently learned that we have 4 different calendars on the website and that each department does their own part of the website. So I don't know how you're going to unify this, because it seems to me we went way backwards, but I'm all for it, especially if you let the kids be our logo. Thank you for addressing the issue with banks. I don't think, because they're processing our payroll is a reason to go out of town. We have 3 banks in this town. We're only utilizing 1. It is totally unacceptable, but I do appreciate your efforts. Tourism. I don't know that we should have these events. We're in financial crisis. I think they need to be on schedule, even though I realize you're not the liaison, but you were the one that did mention. How can we conceivably move towards consulting a budget, hiring labor attorneys when DPW has not had a contract for a year? I don't know if they can strike, but I would certainly encourage them to do so. I've not heard anybody talk about cuts other than plastic film. So good for you. Thank you. Small, but it helps. And it's really disappointing. Or not really disappointing, but when this whole wellness campaign started, I know I brought up the issue of mental health and how the leader was contributing to poor mental health. It is quite amazing to me that now it's being blamed on social media as opposed to what is happening in this town. It is this town that causes the heart attacks of residents, the high blood pressure, the strokes, the not sleeping. It has nothing to do with the social media. And I just don't understand why, once again, thank you for what you said, Ms. Mahoney, regarding privacy, confidentiality. I don't understand. Once again, mine was breached again. And you don't like disparaging remarks about employees. So let's go with this one. 3 season beach badges. 6 plus 4 junior badges do not equal $601. And this went back and forth with an employee. And I want to point out, this is not a place to make formal complaints about employees, because that is violating their right to privacy. So we're not going to be making formal complaints, because there is retribution on behalf, and it comes back at us, the residents. So I didn't infer at the last meeting that there's problems at Borough Hall. I am clearly stating it here. There are problems in that department, in that building, with many people, many procedures, many things not followed. The same way I see the same Jeep parked when I go to work at 6:30 in the morning and come home at 2:15 in the afternoon, parked on Main Street, 5 days a week. So it's another department that doesn't enforce laws. I thought we had a 2-hour parking limit. And I know I certainly would be the first one to get a ticket. I left my car out for more than 2 hours, and that would be correct. But I really think, honestly, your top priority right now has got to be to get these people to Public Works a contract. It's mind-boggling, and yet you're saying, oh, they do a wonderful job. Well, then compensate them. Really, I mean, I don't get it, but I don't get a lot of the procedures here. And that's sad, and we are going in the wrong direction. And every time we turn around, there's another lawsuit against us, which I do think we should know about. We don't need to know the details, but I think it is appropriate, and I've said it before. We've received documents, there's a lawsuit, so-and-so versus so-and-so, this is the claim.
Thank you. Yes.
Mary Backstrom, 218 Fourth Avenue, Bradley Bama, that would actually be really hilarious if some people are residents of Bradley. But anyway, I just want to voice my support again for the police of Bradley Beach, for DPW and everybody else who works so hard. Sometimes I see complaints on that terrible social media about police or DPW, and I, for one, don't appreciate it. And I like to push back. You guys do a great job. Secondly, Meredith is just saying, as somebody who's in corporate for 30 years, that wasn't a great email. Just take it as a learning experience. And I'm not saying it was your idea or what to write, I have no idea, but it did sound so petty. And it does not reflect well on the mayor who presumably attended this event and anybody else. Because I've never heard our council disparage any of our employees ever in the 2.5 years, or almost 3 years that I've lived here. And then finally, Shannon, what was the question you couldn't ask?
Actually, I thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
No answer, but it'll be asked.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, somebody left their glasses. Yes. Cindy Lukenda. Waiting for it, you know what? I know I'm not asking an answer, but in regards to the situation with our police chief. The fact that we are on the hook for paying this person until it's resolved, and knowing that he has an exorbitant salary, and it's been weeks, technically well over a month. Is there an expectation, or is there something as we as a town can expect as to when this would be resolved or reasonably resolved, since it's not a situation where he's not being paid, he's being paid. You know, and at a $200,000 salary a year, you know, that's a lot of money going out for just sitting at home. So my question is, and maybe it's more for you, Greg, about, I know we don't know about this, like, is there a time frame to know, or that we could know when this is done, or is there a point where the township can decide, whether it's mayor or councilor with you, that it becomes an unpaid leave?
Yeah, I mean, so so every police officer has rights under statute.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
legislation. We do not, if this was a subordinate officer, our police department and internal affairs would investigate it, because the chief is at the top of the department. It must be sent to the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office. no one sitting in this room, has any idea what they're doing on purpose. So we just really don't know.
Okay, so we're just, it could be 6 months, it could be a year.
It's as long as the prosecutor's office takes it, they're not going to tell us one way or another, and we're not gonna ask, because
No, I understand that, because I just didn't know if there was a specific expectation or timeframe.
it's just the way these things work.
Okay, in regards to, the OEM, and, it would be really nice when we have these various storm events that we all seem to know and hear on the news. Why can't we have an email blast, a phone blast, something of just saying, listen, you know, this is what's expected, make sure you do X, Y, Z, or yes, we're lowering the lakes. You know, we're gonna do what we can, you know, make sure to secure your stuff, things of that nature, so it's not, again, people wondering, did we or don't we, or we hear that, oh, well, you know, the lake got lowered, or this lake got lowered, or, you know, things of that nature, so, you know, it was very nice, honestly, of Councilman Weber to be out on social media to say, listen, storm's coming, if you need help, if you need, you know, a pump, if you need this, I'm here. You know, and that's what should happen, you know, we're a tiny town.
It does happen.
There's always posted on the police Facebook.
Okay, but I'm saying, again, not everybody in this town, there's a lot of seniors, particularly who are year-round residents, aren't on Facebook. They're not going out there. We have the ability to communicate via a blast. Why aren't we doing something like that? If we're having a department of OEM, we should know exactly what's going on, you know, and give people a heads up. Like I said, we're all with it. We can follow it up. Like, there's many residents who are not, you know, tech savvy or in tune with that it would be very helpful just to say, here's a phone, you know, it can't be difficult to do that for people, just so they're aware. And maybe even in those instances, we should know who, you know, perhaps some of those, you know, more vulnerable people are residents, so that we all are watching out for everybody, that we can check in with people. So, I mean, I know we're really good at doing it around our blocks, but still, it would be very helpful that maybe we think of something in that form, since again, we're a hamlet, we're not even a village, we're just a teeny tiny little place that just needs to get their act together.
Just so you, another clarification, we do have a list of people with special needs, people that are on, say, oxygen.
Mhm.
And if they lose power, so we do maintain that list, and we do check in with them to make sure.
See, that's great to know, and I would like to, as a resident, I appreciate that. But I would like, you know, I'm sure there might be other people who don't even know to sign up with you for some of that stuff. So, you know, again, more information is not a bad thing. You know, I'd rather than finally say, stop telling us something, instead of, can you just please tell us something?
We do send out information for people to sign up for emergency purposes and everything, and it goes to Monmouth County and it twiddles down to us as well. Once you sign up, everybody gets that information. Police department, I mean, as far as the weather, I always post it on next.
No, I know you do, and that's what I'm saying, it's great, but I was just thinking of everybody that's not using social media or any of that. There's, and a phone call should just be, boom, there's various things we get, just blast it out for everybody of saying, guess what? And if we could be like, really, you know, we know this, but I'd rather understand that and say, they're not enough, and then have, again, then you have people worried and concerned, so. That's something, again, that we could be mindful of. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hello. I'm Jean Lee here from Park Place. I'm one of these people who don't have, I just use the phone. I do not communicate and except when I read the paper. I want to, first of all, wish you all a happy new year, and I thank you all for your service and all the people here, because we live here and we like this town and we want to make it better. I represent the seniors of Bradley Beach. And I would like to know, Mr. Mayor, when are they gonna finish the de Blasio building? And I have, because we have meetings and we can't use the building, I have lost my bingo board.
No.
I know it's no big thing.
We gotta find that.
I have things in my garage for the meetings. I have food, I have plates, I have and I have to drag it each time from here to there. And if I can get into that building, maybe I can clean out and have a locker. And I can put things in there, so we have a meeting, because it's difficult.
Soon.
The mice, I think, may be playing in my garage, but they're playing on the windows, but I don't know. And representing the seniors. I don't know if there's a way, I asked Courtney when we have meetings, but like, if the fire, like, I lived in a small town as a child, and the whistle, the fire whistle would go, you know, and 2 whistles, it was a fire, like, an emergency. It might, you know, people could hear it. I don't know how else to communicate to us. But I would like to know when the Blasi, if it is, and if it's gonna be big enough. We have grown, because there are a lot of seniors. And we do like just to meet and talk when he'll be back in business or someplace which is for our own. We're very happy with the firehouse, by the way.
I know you are.
But we don't use their kitchen, thank you, so we have to drag in all the food and we don't, it doesn't serve us, thank you, we do not use their kitchen,
I know.
that's it.
Thank you. Yes.
Hello, everybody. Greg Janoff, 414 Monmouth Avenue. In true transparency, I may have been asked to ask this question by somebody very important to me who I tend to follow. Thank you. So changing the subject a little bit, and I'm not trying to precipitate any kind of political debate, but a question about 319 Lorraine and not about the referendum or anything. But it's confusing. So if you can just kind of give us where we stand and what happens next.
Yeah, I can do that in probably 30 seconds or less. And Mary, if you can jump in. We are framing, we're working on an RFP, request for proposal, which we will send out. We will have companies, entities, developers, whoever bid on those. We'll evaluate those RFPs and then we'll take the action and dispose of the site.
An RFP for tearing down?
No, it's an RFP. Well, it's going to be a couple of flavors of the RFP. But yeah, we're going to get some options out there for an RFP.
Right, and I don't come to every meeting. It's confusing because I know there's been conversation about historical artifacts and how to save them.
Yep, that's all being taken into account.
So
we've got a broker working with us on that.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's really, I'm confused, so I don't know if other people might be, but we're really confused. So as clear as you folks can make it to us of like step by step what's happening would be helpful.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Jennifer, when you say you folks, it really is the mayor and the administration. The council waits for updates as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we've got 3 on the.
On Zoom, I can read them all.
Good.
First one is Don Greenberg. Good evening, Don.
Good evening. How you guys doing?
Good.
Can you hear me? Good.
Yeah. Can you just state your address for me?
Sure. 302 Park Place Ave, Bradley Beach, New Jersey. So question, on the agenda today and on the website, there were a bunch of resolutions. Resolutions 24 through 40, there were no links for. So the public did not have a chance to look at those. And I guess my question to Greg is, and by the way, Greg, nice to see you again. Welcome back. Hope you stay for a long time. Does that violate 48-hour notice that those links weren't made available for the public to see the resolutions that were debated tonight?
Available when they were on the agenda.
No, I saw.
They are on the agenda.
There's always confusion here, Mr. Greenberg, because the ordinance requires only things on the agenda to be considered at the meeting. So number one, they were all on the agenda, notwithstanding that the resolutions themselves are not. And the Open Public Meetings Act, the statute that overarches all of it, requires not even the agenda to be actually fully published before the meeting, only to the extent known. So legally, we're all on solid ground. I think your point is taken.
Yeah, so legally, thank you for that. I appreciate that. From a courtesy standpoint, it would be nice if the administration could make all those links available for the public to see before they're debated, so we can actually look at them. And, be nice if the council got them before the day of the meeting too. So, that's number one. Number two, another question for Greg. Since the tourism director is filing a tort against the town and a harassment claim against the mayor, does the mayor making himself liaison put us in any greater legal jeopardy in regards to that tort?
I'll have to decline to answer your question. I don't know. I'm not handling the complaint. I didn't know about the liaison. I just learned about this tonight as well. So I will figure it out and make sure that the borough is free of liability. That's my job.
Okay. Appreciate that. And the last thing is, Councilman Weber was talking about dunes. I know there was blowback on walkovers before, but there are other options. Speaking with another Bradley Beach resident, who's Captain Al Majeski, whose job is coastal restoration, you can do staggered dunes as well. So basically, there'd be a dune in front of the dunes we have, and you would kind of walk a zigzag to get onto the beach. But I think either way we do this, we should do a pilot for either a walkover or these staggered dunes as soon as possible. Because if you saw the Bradley Beach community page today, you saw basically a river going from the ocean behind the dunes, and there was a little lake behind the dunes. So I think that's something we need to jump on sooner rather than later. And is there any plans within the administration to look at this, Mr. Mayor?
There aren't currently.
There are or are not?
Not currently.
I'm sorry, it's coming through very muffled.
Not currently, Don.
Not currently.
Not currently. Is that something that we could look at?
But we are looking at, we don't call them staggered, we're looking at potentially some dog legs.
Yeah.
Which is similar to a stagger, I'd say.
And are we going to do any pilots on that in the coming months, or how far down the road is something like that?
But we wouldn't do it until the next fall.
Next fall. Okay. All right. That's all I got. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Herb Kenny. Good evening, Herb.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. You just state your address for me.
216 Brindley.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have several questions. One, it's good to hear that the budget hopefully will be here for 2024, will be here by the end of January. That would be a huge improvement. I'm not confident, but it's a good target. Going to the budget, Mayor Fox, the auditor that was just voted in this evening, is he the person responsible for the issuing finally the 2022 audit?
Yes.
Oh, do we have that yet?
Also, you said the 2022 audit. No, we do not have it yet.
Oh, so we still don't have it. Now, you lectured me on cash flow a couple meetings ago. But it's amazing. Haven't we already paid this gentleman, his firm, $17,000 several months ago to do this work?
I think we paid him for the prior. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the answer to that. I know that because he's done a couple of engagements for us, it could be for something before that.
Huh. Okay, when do we expect this? I mean, 2 years later, when do we expect an audit? I mean, it's pretty amazing to me. We lived through 2023 with a budget that was, late, way too late. Now this one we're coming up, and we still don't even have a 2022 audit. Doesn't that concern you?
Well, I certainly am anticipating it, and we've been.
No, that wasn't my question. Does it concern you?
We are expecting Mr. Oliver to have that for us very shortly.
Okay. All right. Go back to the land use board. This is another pet peeve of mine, for several years now, and I've been up there discussing gables versus non-gables. Now, for the first time tonight, I heard about a porch on the side, it, somehow worked its way through and things of this. I do read your newsletter, and, unfortunately, I saw that there was an unfortunate death of a member of the land use board. When do you replace these people? Is there any chance that instead of having, a nice, fun buddy network of land use members, that we actually hire or you appoint some people that actually have some building background, some zoning background, some legal background. Is that ever crossed your mind as a possibility? I guess the answer is no, or are we frozen again?
Not frozen, but we bring people on to the board that we think are appropriate to the board that are going
We,
to represent.
excuse me, we do or you do?
I do with some input.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay. I just hope for once that we'll consider to hire somebody that's competent, so we don't continue to keep losing all this money. My last question, another thing I learned about the Christmas party, holiday party. Do the Bradley Beach residents pay for this, or is this the employees chip in like every other big company, or others, or do the taxpayers pay for this?
The employees pay for it themselves.
Okay, great. I was hoping that was the right answer. Thank you, Meredith. That's my only questions for this evening. Thank you.
I can't read the last one.
That's okay, yep. Our last one is iPhone 262.
That's why I couldn't read it.
iPhone 262, can you please state your name and address?
Hi, Rick Bartolome, 116 Newark Avenue.
Good evening.
Good evening. One quick question, which I've been harping on a little bit. Where are we on the concessions for the boardwalk? Where are the RFPs for that? It's going on now for a couple of months that I've been asking this.
That's in my court, sir. You ready to advertise them?
Yeah.
We'll have them out later this week.
Excellent. That's you, Greg?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah.